The Adventures of Sodor the Early Years, Episode 3. Is that Henry? Ever since Henry has arrived, he has not been well on the railway. He was made from stolen plans, and he was a prototype. Oh, I do feel sorry for you, Henry. If only I could help you, said Edward. Me too, said Winston. Oh, there's nothing you can do, but if you were able to, then I'd greatly appreciate it, said Henry. Oh well, Henry, said Lily, at least you're in working order. Just be thankful for that, said Lily. That does not matter, said Adam. He should not be on the railway. He should be scrapped, said Adam. They just ignored what Adam said. Then Sir Topham Hatt came to the engines. Now, I know Henry has not been the best engine for the railway so far, he said. Yes, said Henry, I know. But do not worry, Henry, because we are getting another engine to help you do the work, said Sir Topham Hatt. Okay, said Henry. Does this mean he's getting replaced? Said Lily. No, said Sir Topham Hatt. He's only just getting his jobs done by another engine when he can't do his jobs. And then when Henry is able to do his jobs, then the engine can go and do his own jobs. So we basically have a supportive engine for Henry when he's not in working order, said Sir Topham Hatt. Okay, sir, said Lily. The engine will be arriving soon. He's a prototype A1, and Sir Topham Hatt walks away, waiting for the engine to arrive. Ooh, went the engines. We never heard of a prototype A1 before. Then the A1 prototype was arriving on the railway. He was racing along the line. Oh, it is good to be an engine, he thought to himself. He then approached the sheds. Hello, everyone, said the engine. Well, it's so nice to meet you all. Oh, hello, they all said. You must be that new engine. Then Sir Topham Hatt came running. Hello, you must be my new engine, Gordon, said Sir Topham Hatt. Yes, I am, said Gordon. We'll have to get you out of that LNER green, well, that GNR green, soon, because if you're not, then people might mistake you for Henry over here. Yes, you look too much like me. At least us engines have different shapes and colours to make us stand out. Unlike me and you, Gordon, we look almost identical, said Henry. I agree, said Gordon. The two engines laughed. Now, Gordon, we need you to take Henry's express train. He's another prototype A1, and really, he's not really the best. He was a mixture of an Atlantic and an A1, and I ordered an Atlantic, and I was told I was getting an Atlantic, but I got Henry instead. Oh well, at least I got a new engine. Anyways, Gordon, get the express ready. Edward will fetch his coaches. All the other engines are busy taking their own coaches right now, and the other engines have their own jobs to do. Yes, sir, said Edward. Go on, little Edward, said Gordon. Go and fetch my coaches, he said. Okay, big Gordon, replied Edward. Nice to see you all getting along nicely, he said, Sir Topham Hatt, and he walked away. I'll go and sit at the platform while you get my coaches, said Gordon, and he steamed off to the platform. By the way, Edward, which platform is mine? Said Gordon. I don't know, but usually Henry takes platform 1, so I'm assuming you are in platform 1, said Edward. Okay, so I'll go to platform 2 and wait for the train. For you to bring my train to platform 1, then we can swap positions, said Gordon. That sounds good to me, said Edward. Here's a nice engine, thought Edward. Gordon went up to the platform. How nice of an engine, thought Gordon. Edward soon got Gordon's coaches and was pulling up to the platform. He passed by the sheds and was soon coming up to the platform. Good luck, called to the engines. I don't think I need to look right now, said Edward kindly. He then pulled into the platform. He had not realised how big Gordon was before seeing him out the sheds going right beside him. Oh my, said Edward, you really are bigger than me. Well yes, said Gordon. I'll have to push the coaches back to as far as your tender can go. As well as making sure you don't overlap the platform with your coaches, said Edward. Oh well, Edward, you already got them in place. I can go and take that place now, said Gordon. If you say so, said Edward. So Edward meant to go and pull up beside Gordon again. Thank you, Edward, for shooting my coaches, said Gordon. No prob. You're welcome, Gordon, said Edward. Gordon went to go and get his coaches coupled up to him. I've never boarded an express train before, he thought to himself, and he rolled his eyes. He then pulled up to the coaches, and while this was his first time pulling a train, he slowly and surely and gently coupled up to the coaches. Wow, the smoothest coupling ever, said the coaches. Thank you, said Gordon. Now be careful, Gordon, said Edward. Coaches can be troublesome if you bump them about, said Edward. Oh, don't worry, said Gordon. I am an express engine made for express trains. I should be good at pulling expresses. Then some children came up with their parents. Look, it's Henry, said the children. What? Said Gordon. I'm not Henry. Who even is Henry? I'm Gordon, said Gordon. We don't even know who Gordon is. What have you done with Henry? Said the kids. I'm only taking his place until he's repaired and fixed so he's no longer real, said Gordon. Sorry, Gordon, said Edward. You look too much like Henry right now, especially with that tender. If you were painted in a different colour, you probably wouldn't get mistaken for him, said Edward. I'm okay with that, said Gordon, but I'm not looking forward to being called Henry, he said. Don't worry, Gordon, said Edward. When me and Winston first was working on the furnace railway, we were sometimes mistaken for one or another. With each other. Sometimes I was called Winston by some kids, and Winston was sometimes called Edward by mistake though. We were pretty similar in looks when we were both red. Laughed Edward. I suppose so, said Gordon. Everyone boarded the train. Gordon blew his whistle hard and began to steam off with the express. This was his first ever train. He began at a spectacular speed and raced down the line. He was already picking up speed fast. Good job, said his driver. Thank you, said Gordon. He was passing by stations as fast as he could. He soon came to Crosby, the next station on the line that was part of the express. Hello, said Gordon. I am your new engine here today. I'm in place of Henry. I am. Look, look, it's Henry, said some children. Bother, thought Gordon. He kept his smile on his face, though. He didn't want to upset the children. I guess I am Henry, thought Gordon. Today, at least, I might as well play the part, he thought. Yes, I am Henry. I am Henry the Green Engine, here for the Express. Get ready for the fastest ride ever, said Gordon. The children were excited and jumped aboard. He enjoyed having to excite children. He thought it was the best thing ever at the time. He sped off with the express after the guard's whistle blew. And he raced off to the hill. This will be the finest sight, he thought. He came up to the bend and raced around it fast. Then began to fight the steep climb that was coming. He knew it was steep and hard to come up, but he did it with ease. He then raced down the hill and then came across the next curve. Pulling these trains are quite easy for an express engine like me, he thought. He was beginning to hear the children talking about him being Henry. This did bother him quite a lot, though. He began to slow down as he approached the next station. Next stop, Wellsworth. That's what I've heard it. That's what I hear, though, said Gordon. We are driving you to your stops, said his driver. I know, said Gordon. He then pulled into Wellsworth, not even knowing that there was an engine there. Here we are, Wellsworth, said Gordon. The coaches were enjoying their rides, but that soon came to a stop. The children began to talk about Gordon being Henry again. This angered Gordon. I am not Henry, I am Gordon the Express Engine, the new engine. And I am not Henry, you can tell that, because I have a training wheel at the back, I have a new tender that isn't Henry's, my voice is different, my dome is in a different place, and my firebox is not as big as Henry's. Should not have been obvious, said Gordon. Everyone stood without words. They had failed to realise that another engine was steaming to him. This engine was none other than Neil. "I'll watch what you talk about, those children," he said. "Just because they're children gives you no rights to harass them," he said. "Who are you?" said Gordon. "I am Neil, and I'm assuming you're Henry, but you can claim to be Gordon," said Neil. "No, I am Gordon. Like, I was the new engine in place of Henry for when he was sick, from what I've been told," said Gordon. "And then when he's able to pull his trains, I pull my own," said Gordon. "Well, that gives you no rights to harass people just because they mistake you for another engine," said Neil. "Yes," said Gordon. He was nervous of the green box-like engine. "Now, if you promise to stop harassing engines and people, then I'll walk away. Well, steam away, you could say, and get back to my shunting." I agree, I won't do it again," said Gordon in fear. "Good, now you'll have to wait for the next engine to arrive. Your line ends here, and now you have to wait for a different engine to arrive, because this is where your line ends," said Neil. "What?" said Gordon. "Yes, how about I take a train and you work in the yards? How about I would teach you a lesson for a change?" said Neil. Okay, said Gordon. Good, said Neil. I can use with a different van, he said. He was not happy at Gordon and gave enough space for him to get out of the way. Gordon steamed onto the yards in sadness. He was not happy that he had let down an engine, that he had no idea who he was, but it sounds very serious. Neil backed down to the coaches. The coaches were relieved to not be with Gordon now. Be careful with us, Neil. Gordon was really not treated well to us, and he's to the passengers. I know, said Neil. He gently coupled up to the coaches. Do you need help pulling them? Said Gordon. No. Me and my brothers have pulled these lengths of trains before. We've done it. I can do it now. I may be grown slower because of my age, but that does not matter. You might not be able to keep up with the new railway times and speeds, but that does not matter either, as long as I'm still really useful, he said. And he steamed away, but he had trouble beginning to start. The train was too ahead for his time. Oh, I'll soon get up to speed, don't you worry, he said, and he hurried away. Soon Gordon went to shunting. He was meant for express trains, not for shunting. This is where he got his bad reputation for shunting. Well, he thought, if I'm not able to pull a train, then no one can, he said. He was not in a good mood though, so that's why he said what he said. He went and placed some trucks at the platform. Well, at least this train can go well with the other one. He then realised that he had to put this train with the other train. Oh my, I forgot this train had... I didn't even realise this train had to be put with the other train, he thought. I've never really shunted, he thought to himself. After this, he was morely just thinking, not really doing anything. Well, saying anything. His driver began to get anxious. You okay? He said. Yes, I am, he said. He was gently shunting the trucks, as that's how he thought they had to be treated. Trucks and coaches, what are the difference? He thought. He thought that bumping the trucks would make them troublesome. He had no idea that not bumping them could make them troublesome. He had never worked with a train before, at least a goods train. He was meant for express trains, and the only train he had pulled was the express, which Neil has taken. I wish there was a longer train to stretch my wheels, he said. This is just so small. This railway is small. I don't want to work here if it's not a long run, he thought. However, he got over his thoughts. Time to shunt this here, he thought. Hopefully this doesn't get in traffic way. He shunted them smoothly into their place, and then went over to the yards. Oh well, he thought, at least I can see how I did on my run. He steamed into the old scrapyard, and then steamed off to the yards. Oh well, he thought. He was not having a good time with how short these runs were, but he didn't mind. As long as he had a run, he was okay. Then soon, Sir Topham Hatt came. Gordon, he said, while I am not pleased with how some of your actions were today. I am happy that you were able to give a smooth and fast ride. You will be becoming part of the railway, at least my railway, said Sir Topham Hatt. Okay, said Gordon, but that's tender, he said. What about it, said Gordon. It's a bit too big for how small this line is. You won't be needing a big tender for a line that's small. You may be needing a big tender in the future if the line ever gets bigger, but right now you don't really need that tender, he said. Oh, said Gordon. We can swap it out for a tender that doesn't need to carry as much stuff, like the coal and water, he said. Okay, said Gordon. If we do need a tender like that again, I can just send that tender over to, the people that work at the crew. Then the people at crew can preserve it until it's needed, if it is going to get needed again, said Sir Topham Hatt. Okay, said Gordon. First off, I'll send you to crew. Then you can get a couple modifications. Well, not really modifications, but you can go there, get your tender, get a new tender, and then you can steam out from those works, and then you can go over to the works and get your repaint, said Sir Topham Hatt. Okay, said Gordon. You can head there right now, and I will allow you to take on the, you could say, branch lines. They're not really branch lines, but they do work there as well. They do work to get to the works at crew faster, he said. Okay, said Gordon. Gordon went off to crew. He made sure to go slow down the lines. He knew that the lines might collapse on him, so he decided to go slow and be careful. At crew, he was given a new tender. It was smaller, but it did fit how the railway was working at the time. But Gordon was not happy with its colours. Why is it blue and I'm green? He said. Well, said the workman, it's because you're going to be painted blue, not green, said the workman. Oh, thought Gordon. No, that will be nice, but I did want to stay green for a bit longer, but I suppose it was for the better, he thought. Then he slowly steamed out the works, out of crew. Then Gordon went into the works. This was where he'd get repainted. He even decided to have a sleep in the works. When Gordon woke up, it was dark. But he also realised his paint job. He was blue. He smiled and said, I'm blue, and he steamed off to the sheds. He was happy that he was now an engine that could stand out and not get harassed over getting mistaken for another engine. At least I will not get told that I'm Henry anymore, said Gordon. He came to the sheds and the engines were there. Oh, hello you all, he said. Gordon. Hello, they said. He backed into the shed. This shed's quite cosy actually, he said. It is, said the engines. We're glad you arrived, said Henry. Ah, thank you, said Gordon. And, said Winston, just be glad that you arrived, otherwise we might have had to do the express work all by ourselves with Henry not being able to do anything, said Winston. How true, said Gordon. At least I can take his place for the Atlantic until we can get repaired, said Gordon. Yes, said Winston, but it's getting late. We have our own trains tomorrow. Also, I've been told you'll be putting your own express trains when you're not having to pull Henry's trains, said Winston. Okay, said Gordon. Well, who's going to be pulling my trains? Said Gordon. Well, we have an engine that isn't really all that well, you know, isn't always working. He doesn't have a lot of jobs to do because it's sort of taken up by his railways jobs, says Winston. Okay, who's that? Hello? Hello? I've been stuck here for 8 months with nothing to do at this silly quarry. Hello? Oh my, said Gordon. At least he can actually do some goods now. He has not been working for the 8 months. At least he can now do your jobs when you're not here, said Lily. And when you're doing Henry's jobs, laughed Adam. The engines began to laugh. Ha 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 ha. We better get some sleep, said Lily. It's nearly time for tomorrow, she said. I suppose, said Gordon. Have to take the trains tomorrow. Only I did just wake up and I did realise many differences, said Gordon, like these lamps have been replaced with these lamps that you engines use instead of the G&R lamps. Then, like, my paint job, it's blue now. Yes, yes, said Lily. And my tender, it's new and brand and blue. It's new and blue. And my dome, it's a lot smaller now, but I suppose that is to help with the smaller trains. Well, not the smaller trains, but the smaller, you know, rides, said Gordon. Yes, said Lily. But if there is one thing that I'm worried about, it's how everything will turn out. I have a feeling the lines will get much bigger in the upcoming years, said Lily. Oh, don't worry, said Gordon. Just be glad that we're still here as a family, he said. I suppose you're right, said Lily. And the engines fell to sleep, wondering what was to come in the upcoming years.